Mr. Krishnamoorthi, you are recognized for your 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Julian, in your testimony you said, "We are tired of the disrespect on the workroom floor." What are you referring to?
Well, it is well known within the Postal Service that there is, in some workplaces, a healthy level of hostility on the workplace when you're trying to get more out of less, when you don't have enough employees and you're making unreasonable demands of those who are at work every day.
And have you brought this to the attention of the management of the USPS?
This indeed has been brought to their attention. In fact, I believe we still have a task force in place on a national level dealing with the hostility on the workroom floor.
I think that in an interview with WGN earlier this year, you said we had staffing issues prior to COVID. And so is it fair to say that you were understaffed at USPS prior to the pandemic?
Yes, it's fair to say that. And in fact, I believe the complaints that you get from your constituents predate the pandemic. And a lot of them will say that the troubles that they had, in fact, the town hall meetings, a lot of them that we were involved in with Congressman Davis and with Congressman Rush were pre-pandemic. And they had the same issues at that time.
Very good. Ms. Perez, in your testimony you say that 2 of the lowest performing mail processing plants in the country are in Greater Chicago. So 20% of the lowest processing plants in the country are in Chicago, correct?
That is correct, according to the Postal Service data that we analyzed.
And you also said that Chicago, on page 2 of your testimony, Chicago had the second worst service score of all the postal districts in the country for 2-day letter mail. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
I have a poster board with me which illustrates what we're dealing with here in the Chicago area and the country. And so basically what this illustrates is the change in postal delivery standards. Before October 1, if you were in my zip code, 60193, before, right here, you could expect to send a piece of mail by first-class mail, basically in the Great Lakes region, certainly including the Chicago area, and have it reach in 2 days. That's this light blue area. And then the rest of the country was 3 days. Isn't that what this is showing?
Correct.
And today, if you look at what was implemented on October 1st, that same 2-day service standard area has shrunk to Chicagoland and part of Wisconsin. Is that right?
Yes.
And then the part of the country that is 3-day has now gone to this region of the country, basically the eastern seaboard and the Great Plains, and then the rest is 4 and 5 days. Isn't that right?
Correct.
So why is it the case that when a constituent comes to me and says that a piece of mail was sent from Northbrook, Illinois, which is in the greater Chicago area, to another part of the Chicago area, namely Evanston, it took 3 weeks? How could that be?
So again, as we noted in several of our audit reports, it's oftentimes that there are challenges that are faced by the Postal Service with regards to whether it's at the delivery unit, but it could also be at the processing center or within the transportation.
Could it be that because we have some of the worst performing plants in the country and some of the lowest service scores in the country, that it's only logical that we would have some of the lowest delivery standards in the country?
So yes, we'll be looking at those 2 plants that we mentioned and that I mentioned in my opening statement.
And now we're going into the holiday season.
Correct.
Where we're about to see a tons and tons and tons of parcels and pieces of mail and holiday cards go through this very system. And here we have a postal service that's not ready to handle it. And so what I'm trying to get at, Mr. Julian, is, do you think that we're ready for this holiday season? Well, thanks for your candor. Now tell us what needs to be done to get ready for the holiday season right now, because I know a lot of families are really hoping for a little bit more normal of a holiday season in terms of postal delivery.
To get ready for the holiday season, this holiday season,
Yes, sir.
it should have started this summer. I mean, right now we're on path to get ready for Easter. When you're talking about bringing people on board and properly trained to deliver the mail, it's time. It takes time. So that's why the staffing issue was important prior to the pandemic, because once the pandemic hit, we were already exposed, or we were already in a place that we were not going to be able to handle it, like we're not going to be able to handle the upcoming holiday season if we're not properly staffed.
We're not ready.
We're not ready.
Thank you, Mr. Julian.
Thank you, Mr.